Maybe you've tried to draw a map of the world. This is my attempt at it from memory. Maybe you've tried to draw a very precise coastline like this. But the problem is the following. How do you know where everything goes? It would be very helpful if you had the world's coordinate grid on your piece of paper. That way you can just look up the coordinate of any location and put it in the right spot. But my fellow map makers might have encountered a problem. The coordinates do not allow for a neat grid of squares, because the Earth is of course round. The longitude lines all converge to the top. And to draw these bent coordinate lines precisely on a flat piece of paper is not going to make the whole problem easier, now is it? So, some of you asked, what is your solution for your mega map project? Well, I hope to not scare anyone, but the answer is math. My mega map of the world uses the Robinson projection. It is a type of projection that maintains a nice balance between shape and size. Plus, if you go to the wiki page, you'll encounter a couple of equations. And these equations allow you to put in coordinates, though this equation requires you to look up coordinates in a table and use the respective values. The equations will then give you lowercase x and y coordinates, which is the location of the original coordinates projected onto a flat surface, which is what we want. You might also have noticed that this table on the wiki page is not continuous, which poses a problem for any coordinate that I need to find that is not listed in here. So what I did is something we call curve fitting. I plotted the data from this table, which shows the following relationship between the latitudes and the capital X and Y values. I interpolated between all these points, which means I can now find the X and Y for any latitude. The longitudes, however, can be plugged in directly, though they need to be converted to so-called radians instead of degrees. So the longitudes are multiplied by pi divided by 180. Alright, we have our big X and Y if we know the latitude, and we know lambda if we know the longitude. Capital R is the value that I manually adjusted so that the edges of the map fit perfectly on my panels. Of course, recalculating every coordinate would take a lot of time, so I made a piece of Python code that does it for me. So currently my process is as follows. I take a look at this online map of the world. I click on a part of a coastline and retrieve the coordinates. I plug those into my code and it gives me where it should be on my map. It says how far it should be horizontally and vertically from some reference point of my choosing. And here you can see what it looks like sped up. When I know where my coordinate is, I put a dot with a pencil. Then I find the next point a little further ahead and put another dot. And then I draw the coastline in between those 2 points. It is not a fast process, but it ensures accuracy. I've considered other options as well, but I wonder what ideas you can come up with. So please let me know by dropping a comment down below. Perhaps I might be able to speed up the process regarding my enormous map of the world. And if you're new to this channel and you love maps, then you should check out my other videos that talk about my project. You might like what you see. Hi there and welcome to the unscripted bonus section of this video where I'm going to show you the progress that I've made on the map since last video. So I'm just going to switch the screen around and then you'll be able to see. So, last time I mostly had the Netherlands, Germany, France, some of Italy and Spain done when it comes to the name labels. As you can see, England is a bit, and the whole of Britain, I mean, is an island, Ireland, is a bit crowded. And when you could look at the Scandinavian countries, not at all. Like Sweden just got 3 cities, Norway just 1, same goes for Denmark and Finland and the Baltic countries over here. But then I also did Belarus and Ukraine and some of Greece and stuff. And so more and more cities are being added to the map. As you can see, it is starting to get interesting. And I think at least neat handwriting is getting, well, it looks pretty satisfying, I must say. So next up is the countries in Africa and everything around it. And then we'll start working on the seas and oceans, painting them. So for reference, for people that didn't watch some of my other videos, this
is kind of what it's going to look like. I'm going to show a closer up right now. Over here you can see the greater detail. So if you want to follow this project and see how I'm developing this map and how it goes along, this is just one segment of 10. So be sure to subscribe if you want to see me make the rest of the map. See you next time.